Coach Prime just did something that the Cleveland Browns never saw coming. And what he exposed is going to blow your mind. For months, the media has been spreading lies about Shedeur Sanders. They painted him as arrogant, lazy, and incompetent. They said he couldn't lead. They said his teammates didn't respect him. And people believed it. But now the truth is finally coming out. This wasn't just bad reporting. This was a coordinated character assassination. And Coach Prime just pulled the receipts.
So Coach Prime took to the internet to repost this. Now this is the post that Coach Prime put on his X account. This stated Shedeur Sanders doesn't get along with teammates. That was a lie. Has poor study habits. A lie. Sits in the back of the room during team meetings. Another lie. Has a weak arm, which was a hella lie. Lacks the IQ to lead an NFL offense as effectively as Dylan Friggin Gabriel. That's a lie. Too slow to escape the pockets against NFL caliber speed. We seen them do that yesterday when he scored. That was a lie. Has poor practice habits. A lie. Highly confident. True. Super talented, which was true. The most marketable player in the NFL. Hella true. Raised by a strong black father who instilled in him from birth to never doubt himself under any circumstances. That's true. A franchise quarterback, which is true. Unshakable resilience, which is true.
7 lies. 7 deliberate, calculated lies spread about Shedeur Sanders. And every single one was designed to tear him down before he even got a chance. This wasn't accidental. This was a hit job. And Coach Prime had to set the record straight because the damage was already done. They claimed that Shedeur doesn't get along with his teammates. But if you watch any footage, any interviews with Cleveland players, you'll see the opposite. His teammates respect him. They rally around him. But the media didn't care about the truth. They wanted a narrative that painted Shedeur as a diva who couldn't build relationships. Then they said he has poor study habits. This is a young man raised by one of the greatest players ever, trained by elite coaches, surrounded by football excellence since birth. And they want us to believe he doesn't study? That's a lie designed to make people think he's not serious about the game. They said he sits in the back during team meetings. Where's the proof? Where's the video? Where's testimony from a single teammate? There isn't any. But the lies spread anyway, and they attacked his arm strength. Anyone who's watched Shedeur knows that's ridiculous. He's been launching deep balls and threading tight windows that most quarterbacks can't make. But they said he has a weak arm because they needed a physical criticism to justify keeping him off the field. They said he lacks the IQ to run an NFL offense. That's not just attacking his intelligence. It's attacking his ability to lead and execute at the highest level. But Shedeur reads defenses, makes adjustments, and commands the huddle. They just didn't want to acknowledge that. They said he's too slow to escape the pocket. But we all saw him score. We watched him move, avoid pressure, and make plays with his legs. He's mobile and aware. But again, the narrative was more important than reality. Finally, they said he has poor practice habits. No evidence. No sources. Just another claim to damage his reputation and justify benching him. But here's what's true. Shedeur is highly confident, super talented, the most marketable player in the NFL, raised by a strong black father who taught him to never doubt himself. He's a franchise quarterback with unshakable resilience, an excellent role model loved and respected by teammates and opponents. Those are facts nobody can deny, but the media bury them under lies. And that's the problem.
Now everybody in Cleveland media and all of the people in the NFL media is like, damn, Shedeur's really good. He really should have been. We've been telling y'all this for the whole damn year because we knew this shit was a lie. We knew the buffoonery that they was placing upon him. We seen the stuff they was doing. They wanted to do this because Shedeur Sanders was a confident black man and believed in himself, and he wasn't going to sit in a room, sit in the corner, and let you say anything about him.
There it is. The Cleveland media knew. The NFL media knew. They all knew Shedeur was good, but they kept quiet. They let the lies spread. And now that he's proven himself, suddenly everyone acts as if they knew all along. No, you don't get to tear someone down for months and then claim you were always in their corner. If they knew he was talented, Why didn't they say it? Why didn't they defend him? Because it was never about talent. It was about control. It was about making sure a confident young black man didn't rise too fast. They wanted him to be humble. They wanted him to wait for his turn. They wanted him to accept being sidelined without question. But Shedeur wasn't built that way. He was raised by Deion Sanders. He was taught to believe in himself and never back down. And that made him a threat. So they attacked his character, questioned his work ethic, spread rumors, did everything to make him look like a problem. Why? Because he wouldn't sit quietly. Because he carried himself with confidence and pride. And in this league, that's apparently too much for a young black quarterback. This is the same playbook they've used before. Tiered down confident black athletes. Call them arrogant. Say they're not coachable. Make them a problem. But Shedeur had Coach Prime in his corner. A father who knows what this system does to young black men. And Coach Prime wasn't about to let them destroy his son. The Cleveland organization played a part in this. They benched him even though they knew he gave them the best chance to win. They protected Dillon Gabriel even when the field results said otherwise. And they did it because Shedeur didn't fit their mold. He didn't bow down, and they punished him for it.
They doing that on purpose.
Yep.
They doing it on purpose.
Yep.
It's just not this. Just think about since training camp. Just think about all the games they've continued to play. Their organization has continued to play, with Shedeur, just in general. They did not want Young Bull to be a starter.
They didn't want to win with Shedeur. Think about how insane that is. This is a professional organization supposed to compete for championships, supposed to put the best players on the field, and they're deliberately sabotaging their own success because they don't want a specific player leading them there. Why? If Shedeur gives them the best chance to win, if the numbers prove it, why bench him? There's only one answer. They didn't want Shedeur Sanders as the face of their franchise. Didn't want a confident, outspoken, talented young black quarterback taking credit for turning the team around. Didn't want the narrative about Deion Sanders' son succeeding. So they buried him, made excuses, played games. From training camp, the narrative was Dillon Gabriel's job to lose. But why? What had Gabriel done? The decision was made before camp started. No matter how well Shedeur played, they were keeping him benched. They were protecting Gabriel, and they hoped Shedeur would accept it quietly. But he didn't. Every time he got on the field, he proved them wrong. Every time they tried to bury him, he clawed back. And eventually, everyone knew Shedeur Sanders was the best quarterback on that roster. Keeping him benched wasn't about competition. It was about control. They didn't just bench him. They set him up to fail, called plays that put him in danger, didn't give him weapons, threw him into impossible situations, and then said, "See, we told you he wasn't ready." That's not coaching. That's sabotage.
I told y'all they was tanking, right? They was tanking. This is just what I heard. This is a theory that they was gonna tank, right? And that could have been another reason why they didn't play Shedeur. They always knew Shedeur was better than Dillon Gabriel, right?
If the Browns deliberately tanked to avoid letting Shedeur succeed, that's not just bad management. That's fraud. That's betraying fans, players, and the league. They didn't just hurt Shedeur. They hurt every player fighting to win and every fan who believed in the team. This goes beyond football. When you look at the pattern, the media lies, the benching, the lack of support, the sabotage, you see something bigger. This was about keeping a confident young black man in his place, making sure he didn't rise too fast or challenge the status quo. That's where civil rights come in. The Cleveland Browns owe Shedeur an apology, an explanation, and respect. But more importantly, they owe the truth. If they were tanking, that undermines the entire sport. Coach Prime knows this. That's why he posted that list. That's why he called out every lie. This isn't just defending Shedeur. This is exposing a system that destroys young black athletes who refuse to conform. And Coach Prime has had enough. Shedeur did everything right. Worked hard, studied, led, performed, carried himself with class. And despite all that, they tried to destroy him. They spread lies, benched him, sabotaged him, because he wouldn't play small. But they failed. Shedeur is still standing, still thriving, still proving them wrong. And now the truth is coming out. The lies are being exposed. And Coach Prime just put them on notice. Share this video. Spread the word. Make sure people know what happened. This was intentional. This was calculated. This was wrong. Shedeur Sanders is a franchise quarterback, a leader, a winner. The Cleveland Browns tried to bury him. The media tried to destroy him. But they all failed because Shedeur Sanders is built differently. Hit that like button, subscribe, and comment on what you think. Did the Browns sabotage Shedeur? Should there be an investigation? Let me know. Peace.